Hey there, GGS peeps. It's time for GGSP. I'm Jem.
And I'm Rad. We've got stacks on the show today, with a full review of the eerie and weird adventure that is Maquette. Plus, I'll share 4 games to never forget that have a special place in my heart.
We've also got some cool questions from you at the Ask SP desk, right, Jem? That's right, Jem.
I said that's right, Jem.
Yes, Rad. Huh. Don't worry, I think I've been playing a bit too much Maquette.
Yeah, that game's pretty weird, huh?
So weird.
Oh, it's been another busy gaming week, Jem. I have been playing games on my PC, on my consoles, and on my phone.
Me too. I'm playing this really Moorish mobile game right now called Jetpack Joyride 2. Made by Aussie devs Halfbrick, who created Fruit Ninja, it's the sequel to the first Jetpack Joyride game and doesn't stray too far from the original. It's a lot of frantic tapping and quick-thinking maneuvers as you guide Barry through an underground science lab on his jetpack, all the while dodging rockets and laser beams and picking up cool new robots to pilot. It's a lot of fun, and I quickly found myself glued to my phone trying to beat my high score.
It looks like a blast. I've also been dabbling with a mobile game, the latest installment in the Paco game series. It's called Paco Caravan, a colourful arcade-style game where you try to create the longest line of trailers possible. It looks wacky, but I found the controls really inconsistent and sticky. Half the time I couldn't turn as fast as I needed, and the other half I turned way too fast. I know the wonkiness is meant to be part of it, but between that and being totally bombarded with ads, I wasn't having much fun.
Oh, that kind of reminds me of that game that used to be on those old school chunky mobile phones.
I believe you're referring to Snake.
Did you know that this early mobile game was inspired by the snake-like style that originated in the 1976 arcade game?
Blockade.
Well, I do now. Thanks, Daz.
Now on to some news for Aussie gamers. Jem, did you hear that the PAX Australia live in-person event is coming back this year?
I did, and I am so very pleased to hear it. After a fully online event last year for obvious 2020 related reasons, Australia's biggest gaming convention is set to return to Melbourne IRL in October this year. The event organisers say that health and safety is their top priority, so they'll be adjusting to all necessary guidelines and things like that. So, fingers crossed everything goes well and the event can go ahead as planned.
Oh, my fingers are crossed so tight they hurt, Jem!
Careful, you need those for gaming.
Oh, you know they really should invite
Me to deliver a talk at PAX. The topic could be noob lasering techniques for the next generation, perhaps. You see, it's a
fascinating subject.
Sure, Darren, but we need to get on with the review.
Affirmative. On with the review.
I've never shown this place to anyone, Michael. You're the first.
I won't tell anyone.
Promise?
Pinky promise.
I would really appreciate it if you could give me just the tiniest bit of your attention.
You're saying I'm not listening and you're the one that's not listening!
Maquette is a first-person puzzler that explores the life cycle of couple Kenzie and Michael's relationship as they meet, fall in love, and grow apart over the course of their time together. The actual game part of this puzzle game takes place in 2 spaces, the main world and a smaller model version of the space you're in.
By manipulating objects on one side, you can change how they appear on the other. Need to get a door open, but the key's too small? Not a worry. Drop it in the miniature diorama, and it'll appear in a larger form on your side. Vice versa, can't get that crystal through a tight spot, pop it down on your side, and you can grab the miniaturized version from the model world. It's a great concept and one of those cool video game tricks I'd love to have in real life.
With great power comes great responsibility. And the great possibility of giant cheese toasties.
You know me so well.
I like to think so, which is also how I know that we're going to have very different feelings about Maquette.
Ah, so not your cup of tea then?
It's really not. The puzzles themselves aren't challenging enough to be interesting to me and don't take enough advantage of the cool concept. The most difficult part was wrangling the objects into place, as they tended to bug out if I wasn't holding or putting them down at just the right angle. My biggest pet peeve, though, is that it's possible to lock yourself out of a solution. Checkpoints are also too few and far between that when you do have to restart, you need to play through big chunks of the game just to get back to where you were. That's bad design in my mind, and it happened a lot.
I think this is one of the first games where I've gotten stuck because I overestimated the complexity of a puzzle.
For instance, I was trying to find a big brain solution for how to get across this gap, thinking maybe I was looking at it all wrong and needed to somehow balance this brick or scale the wall edges. But no, the answer was make key you forgot existed big and walk over the top.
They feel more like breaks between the story rather than actual challenges.
Which would be fine in the beginning to get you started, but the bar is never raised higher than that. And while the voice acting for Kenzie and Michael is pretty good, their characters feel deliberately vague so that anyone could fit themselves into their story. And I didn't feel any real emotional connection to them.
Oh, you are gonna have to set your bar 1,000 times lower.
Which made the whole experience feel more like a slog through the story beats. Now, Jem, I know you like story games, so what did you think?
I actually didn't mind them being more on the hollow side because it left room for what I consider to be the star of Maquette to shine, its environments. Throughout the story, the world around you changes to reflect the state of Kenzie and Michael's shared world. Bright, colourful, romanticised locations turn into dreary, dark versions of themselves. A normal stretch of road feels like an endless, inescapable maze after a fight. And at the end of their relationship, it all breaks away to reveal the cold expanse of space. I'm a big fan of show, don't tell, and Maquette nails that for me.
Yeah, but did you actually enjoy it, even with the issues we've mentioned?
I really did, because I found enough good things about it to keep my interest.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I've experienced that with games before as well, just not with this one. To me, Maquette, while beautiful looking, lacks substance and fails to make the most of the world it tries to create. Without that engaging gameplay, you're just left with some pretty scenery and a story you've heard 1,000 times before. If I wanted that, I'd just watch a movie. I'm giving Maquette 2 out of 5 rubber chickens.
This is one of those annoying instances where I know what you're saying is right and what you're saying makes sense, and I can't logic my way around it, but at the end of the day, I liked Maquette. Is it super artsy and takes itself too seriously sometimes? Absolutely. And while it's definitely not meaty enough to satisfy those puzzle lovers, it's such a beautiful game with a really cool idea that at its core, I think works well. I'm giving it 3.5 out of 5 rubber chickens.
Hey, Jem, if we were in a model, do you think we would know?
I have no idea. I'll go grab that.
Rad was a smaller Rad, she played a lot of games that basically don't exist anymore. But they will stay with me forever in here and in here. And now I'm gonna tell you about them here. These are my 4 games to never forget. Mixed Up Mother Goose. Tasked with bringing nursery rhyme characters various items to finish their rhymes, Mixed Up Mother Goose was mixed up indeed. What is Jack and Jill's Pail doing here? I used to play this for what felt like hours with my sisters, each of us pointing gleefully at the screen and declaring that the steak definitely belonged to Jack Sprat, who could eat no fat and his wife could eat no lean. The graphics may have been difficult to look at with gaudy blocks of neon colours, and the sound may have been the ear-splitting screeches of a banshee. But the game still filled me with delight. It combined my love of helping people with my love of organising things and solidified itself in my memory forever. Thanks, Mother Goose. Logical Journey of the Zombinis. When going on a journey, it always pays to be logical, a fact well known by the Zombinis. These rotund rascals needed to cross many puzzles to escape servitude to the bloat, and they needed my big brain to help. It was on this journey that I discovered my love of puzzle games, because these were wonderfully varied and superbly logical. I mean, no one can really say why this existed, nor why the Zombinis didn't just find another way around. So I guess that part wasn't logical. But the puzzles certainly were. Kid Picks. Okay, so this one technically isn't a game, but I certainly played it like it was. This drawing program was designed to unleash the creativity inside all of us, offering tons of wacky ways to make a digital picture. You could draw rainbow lines, use stamps, or do whatever this is. Sure, it's just drawing, but it was one of the first things I ever got to play with that let me make anything I wanted in a computer, and it felt magical to see all my creativity unleashed. Kid Picks is one of this kid's picks. Lemmings. Just like the passage of time, Lemmings marched ever forward, and it was your job to lovingly guide them safely to the other side. Although it wouldn't be much of a journey if there weren't obstacles in your way, danger at every turn. But thankfully you're not alone, because the Lemmings are there to help each other too. You can assign them jobs to direct the flow of the Lemming lads and watch them trundle forward with a satisfying plod, all while listening to chiptune nursery rhymes and classical music. So, there you have it. Games may have been a little more simple back then, but the joy they brought was just as vibrant. And they'll live on in my mind forever as 4 games to never forget.
Alrighty, right, time to buckle up for another exciting round of Ask SP questions.
Oh, cool. I love buckles. They are definitely up there with my favorite fastening devices, along with clasps, buttons, and press studs.
Okay, well, glad we got that covered. Now, let's dive in with a good old-fashioned email from Griffin. Hi, GGSP. Can Destruction All-Stars be played on Xbox One, and can you play split screen? I love your show. From Griffin. Ha-ha! Hee-hee-hee! Beep-beep-boop. Boop.
Thanks, Griffin. I'm pretty sure Destruction All-Stars is only on PlayStation, but let's check with Darren just to be sure.
Hello, you've reached the office of Director Darren ACS. I'm busy making potentially Logie-nominated television right now. Please leave your message after the beep.
Hi, Darren. Just Rat and Gem here doing Ask SP. We wanted to check some things with you, but, never mind, I guess. We'll figure it out. Bye.
When did Darren join the Australian Cinematographers Society?
I don't know. Well, anyway, Griffin, if you're wondering if Destruction All-Stars is available on Xbox One, well, I don't think it is. Not at the moment, anyway. It is currently only available on PS4 and PS5. Sometimes platform-exclusive games do eventually come to other platforms, but I haven't heard any suggestion about that for this particular game. For now, at least.
Hello?
Hello, Darren here. I just got your message. Do you need my help with an Ask SP question?
Well, actually, Darren, I think we've got this one covered.
Oh, but I love answering questions. Don't make me dig out my disappointment laser.
Okay, why don't you answer Griffin's question about whether Destruction All-Stars has split screen?
Oh, affirmative, I will. But, the answer to the question is negative. There is no split-screen multiplayer option in the game's current form. Instead, it has online multiplayer.
Oh, that's a shame. I love split screen. But thanks anyway, Darren. Bye.
You're welcome. So long.
Bye-bye. Alrighty, let's move on to a video now, and this one comes to us from Eloise.
Hi GGSP, I have 3 questions for you. 1. How do you get new residents on your island in Animal Crossing New Horizons? 2. What are your top 5 Roblox games for the age range 9 to 11? And 3. Is Daisy as cute as oatmeal?
Thanks, Eloise. To your first question about how to get new residents on your island in Animal Crossing, well, there is a fair bit to cover here.
Indeed. First off, you'll be able to invite your first 3 new villagers to your island quite early on in the game. You can find them hanging out on Mystery Islands, which you can visit via the airport using Nook Miles tickets.
Once you've done this and you've upgraded resident services and all that, you can speak to Tom Nook about constructing the campsite. Once it's built, you'll start to see occasional random visitors who you can speak to and try to convince them to move to your island.
Eventually, you'll also be able to purchase housing kits, which allows you to set up a plot of land for potential new residents. If you have an available plot, you can then wait for a random villager to move in. Or you can set out to invite a new villager yourself. This could be someone who visits your campsite, or maybe someone else hanging out on a mystery island.
Oh, and I've heard if you time it right, you can even try and adopt a villager who's decided to leave a friend's island.
Oh, interesting. Speaking of which, if you already have the maximum 10 residents on your island and you want a new resident, keep an eye out for when villagers have a little thought bubble above their heads. Then speak to them and encourage them to move on. That should open up a spot for a new resident.
Or if you have a compatible Animal Crossing villager amiibo, you can scan it via the Nook Stop terminal. That villager will then visit your island and you can try to convince them to stay. Though it might take a few attempts, and if your island is at max capacity, you'll need to evict one of your other residents to make space for your amiibo villager.
As for our top 5 Roblox games for the age group you mentioned, well, I certainly had a good time with games like Flee the Facility, Natural Disaster Survival, and epic minigames. They're especially fun to play with your friends. And I know Darren likes Robot 64 for obvious robot-y reasons. What about you, Rad?
Well, although it doesn't really compare to the official Theme Park Tycoon games, Theme Park Tycoon 2 on Roblox is pretty good and surprisingly detailed. So I'd add that one to the top 5 list.
Great. Now, is Daisy as cute as Boatmeal? Well, let's have another look. Pretty cute, Rad. Should we call it a tie?
I don't know about that.
Okay, well, I think the only way to truly solve this would be to have some sort of pet cuteness competition.
Yes! Okay, so let's wrap up Ask SP and then we can talk more about this idea. If you have a question for us, go here to send it in. And if it's a video that ends up on the show, we'll send you some GGSP loot.
Right, let's talk judging criteria. I'm thinking floofiness. I'm thinking snuggliness.
Oh, adorability. Oh, snoot boopability.
Yes, I love this, yes.
Smell should definitely be a category as well.
Next week on the show...
Well, Darren, that's our bit.
Affirmative.
Just reading through the script here. Oh, we're reviewing Loop Hero.
Darren, wait, I've got this. Next week on the show, we're reviewing the RPG roguelike that's like nothing else you've ever played, Loop Hero. Plus, we'll look at some games that can teach you coding.
That's gonna be a very cool show.
Don't forget, you can also visit our website.
Darren, you're reading the script out loud again.
Oh, affirmative.
Like you said, though, you can visit our website at abc.net.au/GGSP. Until next time, Gem out.
Right out.
And this is where I
I say Darren out. Darren out.